Hello. This week's topic is political parties, interest groups, and campaigns. Please make sure you read Chapter 5 before attempting the written question. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the topic we're discussing this week. Chapter 5 deals with the role of political parties and interest groups in the states. Just as we have political parties and interest groups at the federal level, they also exist at the state level. So, for example, there is a Michigan Republican Party and a Michigan Democratic Party, and they're responsible for recruiting candidates at the state level, nominating those candidates, and then supporting them when they run for election in the fall campaigns. The political parties are more active in election years. So, for example, 2016 or 2018, which are statewide election years. In between periods, they're focused primarily on raising money, and then they give that money to the candidates they support. There is also in Chapter 5 a discussion of the role of interest groups, and within this folder I've also included some links to a few interest groups that exist in Michigan, for example, labor groups, professional groups, business groups. So in terms of business, you would have the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, or a labor group would be the Michigan AFL-CIO or the American Federation of Teachers. In terms of public interest groups, I've included links to the League of Women Voters, which is a nonpartisan organization here in Michigan. And then you'll see single issue groups related to, say, the abortion issue, Right to Life of Michigan, or Planned Parenthood of Michigan are some examples. So you might want to check those sites out just to get a sense of what those groups do here in our state. But certainly interest groups have a large amount of influence on the decisions of state government. They have lobbyists in the state capitol, so there are lobbyists in Lansing. It's possible that at some point you've taken a trip up to Lansing to the state capitol and seen a lot of people in the lobbies. Those are oftentimes interest group members, lobbyists. In fact, that's where the idea of lobbying, that term lobbying, came from, was that the individuals representing interest groups would literally wait in the lobby and then talk to legislators as they came off the floor. Another discussion in Chapter 5 is about campaign finance laws. Each state has its own system of laws with regard to raising money for political campaigns. Historically, certainly in the last 40 to 50 years, there were limits in almost every state on how much individuals or either wealthy individuals or interest groups could give to candidates. The idea was to try to reduce the role of money in politics, since not everyone is equal in terms of their ability to spend money. But in 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the Citizens United case that campaign spending is an issue of free speech. They basically gave it First Amendment protection, and that means that now interest groups and outside groups can spend as much as they want on behalf of candidates they support. There are still limits generally within the states on contributions to individual campaigns, but there are no limits on how much outside groups can spend to support their favorite candidate. At the federal level, this has kind of opened the floodgates for money in politics, and a similar thing is starting to happen at the state level as well. Here in the state of Michigan, in September of 2017, the Michigan legislature passed a bill that basically extends the Citizens United rationale to the state level here in Michigan. So that means that outside groups, wealthy interest groups and so forth, can spend as much as they want on behalf of their favorite candidates in the state of Michigan, and that will certainly have a lot of impact as going into the next statewide campaign. So money is very big in politics. Again, people have different opinions. Some people believe that it is a First Amendment right, and if wealthy people want to spend a lot of money to support their favorite candidate, they should be allowed to do so, while others argue that since money is not equally available to everyone, that there should be limits placed on how much people give to candidates, and that there are other ways to express opinions about who you support. So make sure you read through the chapter carefully. If you have any questions, email me, and I hope you have a great week. All right, take care. Bye.